Greetings all. I am so sorry about the delay.
Sam.
I know. Meetings get stacked on each other.
You bet.
It's been a day. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience.
Sure, that was fine. Zach must be trying to get in, I think. And I see Laura doing, are you there, Laura?
Yeah, it looks like she is connecting her audio at the moment.
I see.
And then there he is. Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah, we're fine. Great, Sam.
Okay, aside from delays, how is everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
I'm here. I had some trouble logging in.
That wasn't you, Laura. That was me being delayed and starting the meeting. My sincerest apologies.
Oh, that's okay.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, I might have to cut out because we have a cow in labor right now. So I'm here, but not really here.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Cow in town? How do you have a cow in town?
We have an acre. So yeah, she's a miniature cow.
A miniature cow.
Yeah, she's still pretty big, but yeah. And things are different. So I'm like kind of worried because usually you want things to be the same, not different with a birth.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, what's her name?
Lume.
Lume.
Yeah.
You got this, girl.
Yeah.
Well, everyone have a great meeting. I'm going to hop off. I've turned over hosting to Zach.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Laura, do you have, can you see video or are you on a phone?
I'm on a phone, but I probably can see screen share.
Okay, so if I screen share something, you'll be able to see it?
I think so.
Okay, great. So to start off, I just kind of wanted to check in with you guys about what content we would want to include in a letter. I started drafting a letter just in the last like 30 minutes. And so we can kind of walk through that, but should I guess first, would you guys just want to talk to me about what content you guys are wanting to make sure gets included in the letter? Or should I just jump straight into the kind of the rough draft that I made and we can start there and make changes as necessary?
Well, I looked at it and for me, that's nice. Actually, the draft is very clear, short and concise. And I think that's just about all we want to say. We don't want to go blah, blah, blah too much. I think this is good.
So why don't I pull up a screen share? Is that all right, Laura?
Sure.
Okay. You guys can see the screen?
Okay. About Laura.
Yep.
Okay. So to start off with is just a very quick introduction, saying as you begin your budget cycle, please keep in term kind of immediate and long-term needs for sustainability funding in the city. For the short-term need, I put in maintain sustainability staffing. So my understanding is that when the pandemic hit, it sort of really screwed up the long-term budget projections for the city. And so one of the things they did to deal with that is they weren't sure if the economy was going to come back and tax revenues were going to come back. And so the future projections for tax revenues were way down. And so they also turned, one of the things that they did is they turned the permanent sustainability position, or the second sustainability staff position, and they went from listing it as a permanent position to a temporary position. And my hope was that that was a temporary measure, and that now that sort of long-term budget projections are recovering, that they would also be able to add long-term, this long-term, cost of an annual position back. Chelsea said she wanted us to check with her just to make sure we get this language exactly right. And so I would want her to check this language at some time this week and basically correct any of it if it's wrong, if that makes sense. No questions there. The long-term,
good.
The long-term needs, basically I just said, referencing our previous recommendation for the creation of a fund, know that there is a need for fully funding the city's climate action plan and increasing bike and pedestrian infrastructure. And then just said, see the sustainability commission proposal for a list of potential funding sources. And then the last piece on here was just referencing the funding for grants. And largely just wanting to thank the budget committee for having provided those funds in the past and kind of say, hey, please continue in the future once we begin actually hosting events. So that was sort of my thoughts on kind of what the content, overarching content could or should be. And, but I wouldn't want to open that up if there's other thoughts on what we need to include, or if any of these things shouldn't be included or should be changed.
I was wondering, since these other things are really big, and I'm sure they care what we think, but it's kind of bigger than us. I'm wondering if we want to focus more on the grant thing, because that's small and really impacts the commission. So I wonder about that being the focus of the letter, and then the other two things being also we think this is really important. If that makes sense.
Art, do you have thoughts on that?
I guess she's suggesting a reordering. I'm fine either way, I think. I'll vote. I'll abstain and you guys can decide. I mean, I understand what Laura is saying, and that's something that we were very happy to get. So we could start off there. I might say funding for Sustainability Commission grants, because I wasn't sure what grants you were talking about, getting grants or not. So that would make it clear that we're talking about the grants that we would give out. That's just a word hack that I would think. No, but Laura's right. But I think the other things are important too. So that's why I'm kind of waffling, but I don't mind moving that up. Just, I think that's good to start out with thanking them for that and asking for that, and then getting into a couple issues that we hope they'll address. So I could support the reordering if that works. What do you think, Zach?
I don't know. I think in terms of the grants, I feel like it's sort of already there. We already have grants. They don't need to change what they're doing in any way. Whereas especially on the first one, I feel like, if we lose our sustainability staff person, our program's going to suffer substantially. From my perspective. From my perspective, that's actually the really, really big thing in the room. And that it's the long-term needs here that are sort of the extra ask. My original thought would have just been we could take out the whole short and long-term part and just say, meant to maintain sustainability staffing, and thank you for the grants and please continue to fund them. I think we might have lost Laura.
But yeah, I kind of agree with you that are you there, Laura? I guess not. I can't tell. I just see you in the document. So
yeah, I think we lost her.
Oh, I kind of could support. Yeah, I was going to comment on that middle one, because we didn't want to confuse that middle one with our proposal about the fund and all. So those could go away maybe. I mean, partly when we're saying fully fund the city's climate action plan, we're talking a lot about having the staff, at least other than that fund that maybe could be established, which we're hoping. But I don't think that's part of what this committee would be looking at. So Yeah, I think and the first one is very important, and you say it very succinctly. Here's the big thing we want to look at. And then the other one, we're really just thanking them. We could say continued funding for Sustainability Commission grants. And, we're just asking them to keep that going. You're right, that's there. But
So will we put that into the short-term needs then?
maybe we just have two bullets. One is the maintain the sustainability staffing. Maybe the next bullet could be something like just fully fund the city's climate action plan. And if there's a couple things we could put under that, one thing you've put is the bike and pedestrian infrastructure. Is that part of the transportation plan?
Yeah.
So we might say, maybe we should mention that plan too, like something, increased funding for bike and pedestrian infrastructure in implementing, I was going to say fully fund the implementation of the city's climate action plan and fully fund the implementation of the transportation plan, whatever it is, the TSP.
Yeah, there's the bike and pedestrian project list. There's also like the Move Eugene, like
right.
That's the programming side of.
We could say that maybe fully fund sustainability aspects of the TSP, including those two things that you just mentioned, the bikes and the move on or something.
So it sounds like you want to keep the long-term needs in here.
Yeah, but don't mention I would maybe get rid of that creation of a climate fund. I don't want to confuse them. They're not going to deal with that. This budget committee for the funds that are there. It's going to be the council that's going to have to decide if they're going to create that fund in the future and stuff. So maybe just.
So don't reference that document?
Yeah, I don't think so. And you're right that Alan's thing wasn't all that relevant. Those were just general ways maybe to fund the city, whereas we were looking for carbon related things to fund our action plan fund.
Yeah,
so
I think Alan sort of knows where he wants to go and that anything doesn't support that.
Sure,
what are you doing getting in my way? So it's unfortunate because we have good ideas too. So I hope he'll read them and
he's got this, Right.
Anyway. So you're saying don't reference the committee document.
Yeah, right. So maybe just get rid of the short-term and long-term titles and just have three bullets. One is maintain sustainability staffing. The second is fully implement the city's climate action plan. And somehow, what could we say? Fully implement sustainability aspects of the climate action plan. And I don't know, I can't quite get it because we want to say the transportation TSP as well. So maybe there's two bullets there. I don't know. Maybe you could say fully fund implementation of the city's climate action plan and fully fund implementation of the sustainability aspects of the TSP, including bike infrastructure and the move on or something like that.
Okay. All right.
And then
and
then the last one would be thank you for continued funding for this. Our things could be the last bullet.
Rather than some small changes, you're actually. So you're saying just to list these as these are the needs of the commission and not have a short and long-term breakdown?
Yeah, kind of. I think they're just things we want them to do in the upcoming.
Because for me, this is the one that we actually want them to definitely do something in the next budget.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Whereas this is stuff for the law, now not necessary for this budget, but things that they should be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is really just a thank you, where we're saying, because we're not actually asking them to give us any money for this one this year, because we haven't really spent any of the money. Maybe we'll spend $1,000 or something before the end of this year. But really, it's about in a year from now, after we've spent $5,000, we'll want them to replenish it.
I don't think we need to say that. If they happen to give us another $5, that's fine. but you're right. I think. Yeah, we do want to be able to spend the money we have. So it's probably
right. Well, it's also saying, please plan to replenish this fund in the future as we help host great events in our community. Right. That was sort of looking ahead.
So no, I'm fine with the subheading, Zach. I mean, it's all fine. We're just twiddling around getting the same ideas in there. So I mean, I think you did a nice job, and I don't want it to be any longer than this. You know, this is very good and concise and to the point and nicely bulleted out so they can look at it and see what we're saying. So that's all good. I mean, you can tweak it a bit.
Did you receive this document, a Gmail link or a Google?
Yeah, I looked at it. I just looked at it in Gmail just before we.
Okay.
So that works.
Because I mean, one thing we could do is I could just send this, I could just send out a note to Laura, and basically this week, if you guys wanted to just add comments on this is how it should be changed from your perspective, we could actually just come back in a week and then review the comments and make any changes that you guys want to make. That would be the other way of doing it. Otherwise, I'm going to sort of take your suggestions and maybe, I mean, the only real thing I'm hearing changed is
stuff in the long-term needs there. Somehow get that to refer to the two plans and figure out how to put them both in there and get rid of the reference to our proposal.
To our previous proposal.
About the fund, because that's not something they need to see.
So I mean, it could.
So however you want to do that, and then just send it off to Laura and me. Yeah.
Okay, so under long-term needs, it would be fully fund the city's climate action plan and increase bike and pedestrian infrastructure, from the TSP.
Oh, and what was this move on thing as well, right? Is that good? Or
oh, the move, yeah, that's like
Move Eugene. What is that?
It's important. It's not as high of a priority.
Okay, all right.
And it's not something that most of the commission is going to be like knowledgeable about and aware of. We're these two on the TSP and the climate action plan. It's really obvious that these.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that would be good. Just remove then the things about our proposal about the fund. And I would say first, fully fund implementation of the city's climate action plan. That's where we are now.
Okay, so fully fund implementation of the city's climate action plan and fully fund the city's bike and pedestrian project
structure
from the transport.
All right, very good. Okay, great.
System plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Get rid of that. All right. Very good. Okay, so yeah, and tell Laura we thought about it. And we do think, yeah, I understand why she worked on the grant thing quite a bit there. So I understand that's, and I still think we've got it. But I think the other two things are the things that we're really wanting to make sure they do. The other one is more, kind of nice to thank them.
All right, so you're thinking this looks pretty good?
Yeah, maybe put a space after short-term needs. No, I mean an indent. Yeah, just a line fee. Just there you go. Just because you had the dots down below in the other one. Okay, well, all right.
And you don't feel like we should reference the funding options at all that we researched?
Yeah, maybe. But then we'd have to give them a link to the document and all sorts of things. I don't know to the extent that they're able to go and realize further funding capabilities. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of a council.
Well, I think the thing that I would recognize is that the budget committee is 8 city councilors and 8 community members.
Uh-huh.
All right, and so this letter is essentially to the city council plus 8.
I see. Uh-huh. Okay.
Right. So I would see like the people, half of the budget committee is the city council and has the authority to do all of those things. So
we could, so down below that, you could say, see the Sustainability Commission suggestions for possible funding sources.
Which I have sent to them.
Okay. Uh-huh. or we could attach again to this document as well, or whatever. We could attach it again to this letter as well. Good. All right.
And then you're fine with funding being down here at the bottom as opposed to being moved up into like short-term needs somehow?
I think so.
What?
Because I don't think this is meant to be a letter to thank them so much as to say, here's some important things to do. And, oh, not quite by the way, but on the other hand, you know, I would kind of agree with you. The other things are a little more important for.
Okay. Do you feel like we need to meet again, or are you good?
I hope not. I'm good. I think you did a nice job getting this together because I wasn't quite sure what we were going to put in it. So I was happy to see your thing today.
Yeah. Sorry, I hope to get it done earlier, but not the 30 minutes before the meeting, but because I would have rather had you guys have more time to, you know, react beforehand. But all right, well, if it looks good, then I'm gonna say that it, you know, looks good, and we'll send it off, and hopefully, you know, if Laura wants to make changes, then we can, you know, we'll have time at the commission meeting to fix anything.
Okay, that sounds good.
That, you know, she wants to try and move the funding piece, the grant piece up. That would make sense. And then if Chelsea says that there's something wrong with this language here, we might
I
need.
think that can be.
Well, I guess hopefully we don't need to come back. Can I just have permission to provide an alternative language that we can change in at the commission meeting if it turns out we need to change something? I mean, I think that's the easiest thing to do.
That's what I hope. Yeah, I would agree with
If
that.
I've gotten it wrong, she can provide us with better language, and we can update it either before the packet goes out or after.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just red flag that as something that I'll send it to Chelsea first, and assuming she doesn't say we need to change something, then this is how it'll go into the packet next week.
Okay.
Are you good?
Very good. Hey. Okay. Very good, Jack. Okay. Nice job.
Yeah. You're happy with this change here, right? That's how you wanted it?
Yeah. That looks good.
Great. All right. Well, I guess we're done early.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Anything else? Oh, do you want to chat about the other stuff at all?
The food or the funding stuff?
The funding stuff.
Yeah, the funding stuff's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Alan wants to do this bond measure, which I guess is fine, or an operating event, which he sees maybe a bond. But I mean, I did want to make it more related. You know, we were preferring some carbon offset things. Like I said in a recent email, there is that tax on gas that Gresham had, which is kind of outside the on gas for sustainability thing. I don't know. I would still push her, you know, kind of registrations for cars. I see they had bike registrations on that long list of ways to make money. I don't know if you do car registrations where if it has to be for the highway or not. You know, I don't know what the restriction.
Yeah, the vehicle registration fees have the same restrictions as gas taxes, gasoline taxes for being spent, you know, in the roadway, which, you know, bike lanes and sidewalks. But yeah, I think I was just sort of.
It's too specific.
Well, just to say, sorry, are you barely breaking up on me, Art? Am I breaking up on you as well?
A little bit, but I might be having some trouble. It's not telling me I have unstable, but probably true. I'm back in this back room again where I had some trouble the other day.
Okay. Well, I can hear you now. Well, I think the main thing is, Well, I mean, just on the airport thing, it sounds like, you know, there are restrictions, but there's also things that they could potentially spend the money on in future years that would be climate related. And then on the document that we got from Alan, or you know, that I guess Alan referenced, or we think it's the document that he referenced. That's the one that staff sent us when we asked about, you know, what is he talking about? Yeah, it's geared at a different purpose. It was geared at the creation of general funds as opposed to the climate fund. And, you know, so there was a lot of, frankly, there wasn't that much overlap between the ideas that we put forward and the ideas that were in that document. I don't really think most of our were evaluated in that document. And so anyway, hopefully, you know, we'll get a chance to present all of this stuff, which hopefully that'll happen. You know, there'll be a chance to hopefully we can get some champions for picking up some of these other funding options as things they want to push. You know, on the gas side, I think it's on the natural gas side, I think some folks would prefer to do a more focused fee on the really big polluters as opposed to this broad fee on everybody. And so there'll be a conversation about that. But, you know, you weren't here, but we actually got a preview of some of the, you know, what would the reductions be from a natural gas franchise fee? You know, if we were to spend $750,000 a year on energy efficiency projects, and it's next to nothing. It's like a 1% reduction over 10 years that we would get out of that in natural gas use. And so, while it's probably a good idea fee to fund that stuff, it's just not going to get us very. So you're breaking up on me again, Art.
Right.
What's that?
Yeah, no, we are. We kind of loosen it. So maybe we should talk some other time here. I don't know quite why I do that. So
there you are. Okay. Yeah, just to say that you know, in some ways, I don't think anything has changed. I think we've gotten more information, but it seems to, it's just that we're unfortunately sort of in waiting land until we actually get to present all this stuff to council.
Yeah, right. Get it.
Go from there and get some traction.
Right, have to get traction, get it in their mind that they want to do something, you know. So, okay.
Yeah. All right.
So see if Laura will buy this. If Laura buys this, we're good with this then.
Yeah, Flora's good, and the Chelsea doesn't make us change stuff, then we're all good.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Ciao, ciao then.
Bye.
Bye, bye.